Hello everybody, it's Haley once again. This is the second installment of this Winona EARP series that I'm doing this week, leading up to the finale. This is the second video and it's a season 2 recap, and I'm gonna try as best as I can not to be all weird and jumbled. Bear with me. I have notes once again. Season 1 ended with Winona having to shoot her sister Willa because Willa is bad, and was on Bobo's side like this whole time, trying to open the Ghost River Triangle and whatnot. Another thing that happened is Bobo whispered in Waverly's ear, "You're not even an EARP," and we all freaked out. Then Dolls got kidnapped by Black, and then the last thing that happened was Waverly touched the goo. Switch on Gooverly. Alright, so basically within the first 4 episodes of season 2, we got to see how extremely talented Dominique is. Like, in the first episode, she became like another character and she did her actual British accent, and that was amazing. Like, a shout out to the fans. The cheerleader scene. Bless. With her dancing abilities, and then freaking singing. She can do it all. And then later on, we see her rocking it with nunchucks. Like, what? Season starts off. Rachel Scarston makes an appearance in episode 1, and that made me very happy. Go back to Lost Girl roots. Basically, they rescue Dolls from Black Badge, but he has to keep on the down low and go AWOL for the next few episodes. Doc blows up that Black Badge, and the widows are in a crate in Black Badge, and so from that explosion they escape, and we'll see them later in season 2. Episode 2! Basically all I have to say about episode 2 is the way hot scene where they have sex for the first time. My heart was so full. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Kat and Dom, for that episode and that scene. And then the badass goo scene with like Winona and Waverly with the spider goo all over them and just like swinging the crowbar and the mallet. That was great. Next, Dolls comes back and we find out that he's maybe like a dragon lizard fire-breathing man. Cool. In episode 3 we meet Tucker. I think we all hate Tucker. He's a creep and he's obsessed with Waverly, and it's stalker-ish and extremely gross, and he's homophobic, and he's just the worst. In episode 3, Gooverly is crazy. Like, we see like intense Gooverly. Even with Nicole, like, oh, and I forgot to say, Nicole knew from the beginning that something was up with Waverly. Like, there was something different. She didn't taste like her Waverly. Sorry. So also in episode 3, the hockey trophy comes into play, which we'll see later in episode 11. Well, 10 and 11. It's like a wishing trophy, I guess. It's like I forget what they call it. It's a weird word.
Yes, it could be a Marzeniok, bringer of good and bad fortune.
Episode 4. I think this is episode 4, but like throughout, like mid-season, we find out the widows cut off Mercedes and Beth's faces and used their faces as their own. Creepy, I know. And Tucker is Mercedes and Beth's brother. Just to clarify. Creepy family. And in this episode is when Dominique sang her heart out.
I like guns. You better run when they're smoking.
It was beautiful. But she also, Waverly gets her hand chopped off, and it grows back because of Gooverly, and the demon possession. I forget what episode we meet Rosita, but one of the first episodes we meet Rosita, and she is like this brilliant scientist, mixologist. She comes across as not as smart just because of her looks. So a lot of people assume she's not smart, like Winona. Winona assumed that she wasn't smart, but she's very smart and intelligent. And we also find out that she's a revenant later. And also, in the beginning of this season, we meet Jeremy, who is also a scientist and a nerd, a smart guy. But we also find out that he's pretty gay for Doc and dolls. Mostly Doc. And that's awesome. I love Jeremy. Jeremy is an awesome character. He's hilarious. So at the end of episode 4, Winona actually gets taken over by the demon. Waverly basically, like, it gets transferred to Winona through a kiss. It was very weird to see that. And then episode 5, basically they're trying to figure out how to get the demon out of Winona. And everyone like gets on board and figures it out. They get other people involved, like the guys and the firemen guys. I don't know who they are, but they look like a cult. Basically, by the end of the episode, no more goo, no more Gooverly, no more Goonona. The goo is gone, and Waverly vomits it out of her mouth. So that was gross. Also, find out Winona's pregnant. That's a big thing. Alright, episode 6 was the episode when everyone like fell asleep for like 6 months. Winona becomes even more pregnant because time has passed. And I know this was a way for them to not have to hide Melanie's pregnancy anymore, which is good. It works out. Also, pregnant Winona is still badass, and that's amazing. Girl power. Women can do anything, even when they're pregnant. In this episode also, Nicole shoots Tucker. Makes me so happy. And then he flies out a window. Just jumps out the window. And then we don't see him till episode 9 or 9? 9. The end of episode 6 with Winona and Waverly, that scene, oh my gosh, my heart was like, oh, Melanie did, both of them were just incredible in that scene. I can't, no words. I love them so much. Episode 7 is the Drunk Nicole episode. This is where Winona finds out that Doc might not be the father, and she finds out that it might be a revenant who is the father of this baby. So that causes a lot of problems. And then Drunk Nicole, of course, Kat did an amazing job. Her comedic timing is just brilliant. I loved seeing like a more lighter side to Nicole. And then at the end of this episode, Waverly actually tells Winona that she might not be an EARP. And then everyone's heart just dropped because she said that she might not be her sister. But we all know, even if she's not an EARP, they're still family and they're still sisters, and that was just too much to hear. Episode 8 was a really awesome episode. It showed us, we went back in time to White EARP's days and Doc Holliday days, and we find out where the curse started and how it started, with the widows and Constance being the sister wives of this evil, whatever he is, demon, called Clutie. And Winona, like, meets Bobo, like, back then, like, they're able to interact, and, like, she had an effect on him and, like, made Waverly his angel, basically, which answered a lot of questions that we had in the first season of why Bobo had such a connection with Waverly. Ooh, and this episode also, Wayhot has some problems, and it's very sad, and it makes my heart hurt. But Nicole basically kept Waverly's DNA results from her, figure out if she's an ERP or not, and Waverly gets mad at Nicole. Yeah, basically Waverly is still mad in episode 9, and Rosita ends up taking her to a spa, and they end up kissing, and Waverly cheated, and broken heart. So that happened. And then Tucker comes back and, like, kills Rosita and then kidnaps Waverly. But then Rosita comes and saves the day because we find out she's a revenant and she can heal herself, and she knocked Tucker out and sent him, I don't know where he went, but he ended up dying. Like, his sisters ate him, basically. The Black Widows ate him. So, thank goodness that's the end of Tucker. In the previous episode, Winona finds out that Doc's ring is the third seal. And so, like, she needs to protect it at all costs, and she's gonna break it when it's the time to break it. So she's basically asking Doc for his ring, and, you know, she gets the ring, and all is good. Until episode 10. Oh my gosh, this episode was incredible because everyone loves Nicole and everyone is fighting for her to live. But basically, she gets bitten by one of the sisters and the venom is poisoning her body, and so, like, Nicole is in the hospital, like, the whole time trying to fight for her life, and then Waverly is trying to save her this whole time, and she's so apologetic and sorry, and she feels so guilty about what happened with Rosita. And just the scene where Nicole says,
"No matter what happens, I need you to know that I have never loved anyone the way that I love you." Oh.
Ow. My heart just got ripped out of me. I cried so hard at that part. And then we find out that Nicole had a wife, or has a wife. And that was interesting. But even Shay, her wife, is rooting for Wayhot, which is amazing. And then Waverly ends up giving the ring to the Beth widow so that that the widow could heal Nicole. How she did that, she made a compromise with the witch, and that had ramifications into the next episode. Episode 11, basically the witch used the trophy, the wishing hockey trophy thing, to wish Winona was never born. And right before she did that, Doc touched it, and so he was immune to it, to the alternate universe. So basically, going into 11, the last episode, until the finale, incredible episode. Best of the seasons. My favorite thus far. Just basically because of Wayhot, and how they're soulmates, and all of their scenes are like, thank you, Emily, for all of those scenes, and just like giving us them and just reassuring us that they are soulmates. Nothing bad's ever gonna happen to them. Like, no one's gonna die, even though at the end you did kill off all of the gays, but they came back to life in the actual universe that we are in Winona Earp. Basically, What happened in this episode is that everyone dies. Doc shoots Dolls, Dolls shoots Doc. They both die. Rosita gets shot, and then Jeremy, Nicole, and Waverly all blow themselves up. Because that's the only way they can save Wynonna. And I don't know, I loved how that episode was just made, and how Bobo was influenced in it, and I don't know, it was just amazing. So yeah, so that's enough of that. I will see you guys hopefully Saturday for the reaction to the finale. I don't want it to end, and I'm really sad and scared and nervous and really sad. I hope I didn't miss anything and that it was probably jumbled, but you know what? That's how my brain works. I'm not normal. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.